Dexter, I'm not sure.
Okay. So as co-host, are you able to keep an eye on the waiting room?
Yeah, I'll
Oh,
take care of it.
okay.
I got it.
Awesome. Okay, Felipe is coming in. Matthew Kaplan, good morning.
Good morning, Juan.
Yeah,
How you
good to
been?
see you.
Good to see you too.
Excellent. Long time.
Yeah.
All right. So the door is keeping us busy. Guys, good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Alan, if you could also go ahead and mute everyone, that would be excellent. And we're going to get started here, guys. So good morning and happy Friday. Thanks for being with us this morning. Alan and I have prepared what we think is a pretty cool, interactive, informative session for you today. So we're going to talk about how to effectively use social media as a profit machine. And most of you that are joining in are either business owners or in charge of marketing to some degree with your company. So I think this is the right place for you to be. And we're also going to talk about why digital marketing is more than just shares, likes, and followers. So there's a lot more to that. All right, so with that being said, let's get started here. All right, so my name is Juan Ortega, in case we haven't met, and in a little bit, I will be bringing Alan Levin also to do the second half of the presentation. We are the owners of Smartypants Marketing, and what we have laid out for you guys today is some quick introductions about ourselves and the company. We're going to talk about, I'm going to talk about the customer service psychology, which is really important, the secret psychology of customers. And then Alan's going to go in and handle best practices for social media marketing. And then we'll have a little bit of Q&A at the end of the session here. So a little bit about me, if we haven't met just yet. I am a partner here with Smartypants Marketing. You may also know me through Action Coach. I'm a franchise owner there and a business coach. Grew up in Orlando, Florida, spent 20 years in hospitality. And what gives me a little bit of credibility here to speak on the subject is that for the last 10 years that I was in the hotel business, I was the director of sales and marketing for several luxury hotels and different companies, including Ritz-Carlton, Hyatt, Starwood. And I was actually the director of marketing also for W Hotel when it first opened here in Fort Lauderdale. And so I was in charge of a large team, large budget, and had a lot of fun. But up until 2012, had a early midlife crisis, decided that I needed to get out of the corporate world, started looking around to see what I could do. And luckily I had read this book here. If you haven't read it, great book, The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. He calls himself a business coach. And I thought, what a really cool concept. Let me look into that. And that led me to finding Action Coach. And from then on, literally like 4 months after I discovered Action Coach, I decided to leave my comfy, cozy executive position with Ritz-Carlton and venture out on my own. So a little bit about Smartypants Marketing and why we decided to launch this company a couple years back, almost 3 years now, is that as a business coach, I saw that all business owners essentially share the same challenge with handling marketing. It's either a lack of time, lack of knowledge and skills, lack of patience, lack of desire. And I know personally, I kind of had all of those because I was busy running my business, didn't really want to spend all this time kind of learning about and dealing with all the nuances involved with marketing. And so, what I would tell my clients is, guys, you need to delegate this out. You're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, you're an architect. You don't need to be spending time, fussing around with like click funnels and email and social media and all that stuff. So delegate it. So we saw a huge opportunity in the marketplace. And what we found when we did our competitive analysis is that what we found is that if it's low cost, I mean, you can find people from all around the world that will do really cheap work for you, but then it doesn't work. And then you had the other extreme, which was, okay, you have like the really big companies who will do marketing for you, but then it's bloody expensive. Like who the heck can afford that? So we decided to open up Smartypants Marketing with the idea that it would be a digital marketing firm that would work for everyone, for the real, small, medium-sized businesses that are here. It was going to be affordable. It was going to be effective. And that's really, what we decided to do and what we're currently doing with Smartypants Marketing. So our approach is slightly different. Most companies will try to sell you stuff, whether it's a new website or email campaign, just different pieces to a puzzle. And what we really take credit and pay a lot of attention to is really helping you create a true vision, blueprint, and a competitive strategy for your business, not just selling you a bunch of different random pieces that you then have to kind of put together. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is the customer secret psychology. And this is a really critical thing that most people don't think about when they're putting together and working on their marketing. And so the first question that I have for you guys is, how much do you really know about your ideal customer? And the reason why that's such an important question is because the more you know about them, the more you understand them, the more effective your marketing is going to be. And at the very end, if you believe in the Pareto principle and how it applies with just about everything in life, marketing is the same thing. Marketing is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics. And you might be asking yourself, well, how is marketing psychology? Well, when you write copy for your marketing, so it doesn't matter if it's a quick little simple Facebook post, if it's an email blast, if it is a white paper, if it's a blog, or if it's your website, marketing is about psychology because you're able to move and motivate people through your words, through the copy that is found throughout your marketing. The mechanics is learning how to use it, learning how to actually use the tool to do the e-blast, learning how to use Facebook. That's 20% of it, but 80% of it is actually using psychology to get people to take action. And that's why it's important to understand, well, what is the definition or the purpose of marketing? If you break it down to its simplest root cause, or the root thing that we want to create, is marketing is an action that we do to elicit an emotion followed by an action. So look at it that way. So the purpose of marketing is to elicit an emotion, and that emotion will be followed by action. So if you're doing a lot of that, if you're getting people to take action because of your marketing, then your marketing is working. If you're doing a bunch of stuff and it's like crickets, you don't see anybody doing anything, taking action on it, then you're not perhaps touching the emotion that will get them to take that action. So let's look at that a little bit deeper here. Is, when people come to a business, they don't necessarily, tell you their deepest, darkest fears. They're going to kind of come to you. So let's say you own a GNC. They're going to come to you and they're like, yeah, I need to start a diet. What the actual problem is, or what their unexpressed need is, like what they're really saying to you is, I've been neglecting my health and I need to improve it. And what their deep, dark internal fear is, I fear for my well-being. Okay, so as a business owner, we need to understand that when customers come to us and what they say is not really exactly what they need, they need a lot more than that they're not expressing. So here's another example. If you're a dentist, someone might come to you and say, I need to get my teeth straightened. So their actual problem is, that they probably won't tell you, is, I have a negative self-conscious belief about my appearance. And their deep, dark internal fear is, I fear humiliation and ridicule. Okay, if you're a digital marketing firm like Smartypants Marketing, somebody might come to us and they go, I need to do some marketing. Their actual problem is, I fear that if my business doesn't improve, I won't be able to provide a suitable lifestyle for myself and my family, right? And their internal deep, dark fear is, I fear failure. Okay, so it's important, regardless of what you do, it's really important to make sure that we understand that there's a lot more that they're not saying. Okay, a lot more to that. And it breaks it back down to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And I don't know if you remember this from school way back when, right? Whenever we learned this, I think high school, is that, at the core, as human beings, we all need the same thing. The most basic thing that we need is our physiological needs, things like, air, water, food, shelter. I mean, basically human survival. That's at the root, that's at the beginning of what we need as human beings. Then comes safety. So it's about personal security, safety. So this is where, like, employment, our income, our resources, our property, we want to feel safe, having insurance, all of these things, having an estate plan. Then it goes on to love and belonging. That's really important as human beings. We're social creatures by nature. Then it goes on to esteem, which is respect and self-esteem and status and recognition. This is basically what we get from our communities, our peers, or the tribe that we belong to. And then at the top of the hierarchy is self-actualization, which is our desire to become the most that we can be. Really important. So when you're learning more about the secret psychology of your customers, basically it all ties back down to this. So if we go back to these examples here, the person who wanted to start a diet, what they're really tapping into is that physiological need. The person who wanted to get their teeth straightened, it's about love and belonging. And the person that wants to do marketing or better marketing for their business, it's all about esteem. It ties back down to those three things there. So when we think about what holds people back from moving forward with you, if you are saying to me, I'd love to have a lot more customers in my business right now, and I wish I had more, then it's a function of marketing and it's a function of sales. And I want to show you real quickly something that I teach, and I could talk 2 hours about, but I'm going to give it to you here in the next 4 minutes, is what holds people back from taking action because of your marketing or your sales process. It ties back to one of these things down here at the bottom. It's either need, you didn't create a need, you didn't create urgency, you didn't create trust, you didn't create clarity, certainty, value, or offer. They were unclear, or some of these things maybe didn't exist. So the function and what our marketing and sales must do is to do a good job clarifying, specifying, and creating each of these things. So when we think of the secret psychology of a customer or prospect, when we say need, what they're thinking in their head is, do I really need this? So your marketing needs to absolutely make them believe that they need what you sell, what your business or company does. So do I need this? They need to be able to mentally say, yes, I do. That's the first thing, because if there's no need, they're not moving forward. The second thing is, do I need this now? So your marketing and your sales needs to create urgency and to convey the message for them to move forward right now. When we say trust, the question they're asking themselves is, well, do I trust this guy or this gal or this company? So our marketing and sales processes need to build trust as they move forward through our marketing or sales funnel. When it comes to clarity, the question they're asking themselves is, do I understand what they're proposing? So make sure that when you're talking to a prospect, you don't really want to talk in terms of impressing them of how smart you are. You really want to break things down to make it sound simple, easy, fun, right? That it's not going to take up a lot of time or mental effort. So if the person doesn't understand what you're proposing, they won't move forward. Okay, so that clarity piece is really, really important. When we talk about certainty, the question they're asking themselves is, do I know this will work? Well, one of the things that I help my clients do is create a guarantee in their business, because guarantees are powerful. If you say, hey, look, we have a 17-week guarantee, then all of a sudden, then that removes that fear of the likelihood that it won't work. Okay, really, really important. When it comes to value, what they're asking themselves is, do I need to shop around? So we need to convey in our sales and marketing what our unique sales proposition is. What is our unique value proposition? Why should they do business with us? What makes us bigger, better, different, or special? And then the last thing, which is very deep, very powerful, the person is asking themselves, do I deserve it? And at the very end, we always, before we make a purchase, we always subconsciously ask ourselves that question. And the bigger the purchase, the more our internal voice might play tricks on us, right? So if you're buying a stick of gum, you may not really ask that question, too profoundly. But if you're buying yourself a $10,000 Rolex, you better believe that your internal mind is saying, can I justify this somehow? Do I deserve it? Really, really powerful. So my big message to you guys here today is understand all of the internal questions that are going on inside a person's mind, and make sure that your marketing and your sales is tapping into it, addressing it, and helping them move forward with it. Okay, so tap into not just the logic, but the emotion of the human being, because at the end of the day, emotion is a lot more powerful, and it's been scientifically proven that people use more emotion than logic when make buying decisions. So if you want more leads, if you want more customers in your business, then begin speaking to your prospects just as their inner voice speaks to them, and watch what happens. Your marketing will be transformed in a way that you could have never believed. Guys, that's my piece there. Thank you so much. With that being said, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Alan Levin. Alan, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Juan. Appreciate it. Let me share my screen here. Good job, Juan. Hope everyone enjoyed that. Let me get into presenter mode here. Okay, so just a little bit about me. I think I know a good amount of you here, but born and raised in South Florida. I've been in digital marketing now for almost 10 years. Got to update that. I've worked with the Miami Dolphins, Comcast, Breakthrough Beverage. I've worked with some pretty big brands, from professional athletes to Jack Daniels and Jose Cuervo, NBC Universal. And then Juan and I started the company back in 2017 when we saw that need in the market, as he alluded to. And then I'm Facebook Blueprint certified, and our company is Google AdWords certified as well. And we've worked with a ton of different niches over the years. All right, so before I get into my presentation, I just want to thank our sponsor, Felipe, the Vice President of City National Bank. He did a great job of helping us promote this, so we do appreciate his support. Thank you, Felipe, which I think he is on this webinar.
I think I did see him arrive here. Alan, I'm not sure if you intended on doing that, but we can see the upcoming slides. You're not in full screen mode.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I'm not sure if that was on purpose or not. Not a big deal, but my OCD kicks in.
Yeah, 1 second. How about now?
There you go. Awesome.
All right, awesome. All right, so today we're going to cover is, we're going to get into how social media is effectively, how you can use it effectively to really not only just build and promote your business, but actually get a return on investment. Because I think lately the kind of attitude towards social media has been, well, it's all just for influencers and TikTok and young people and things like that, but it's still a very powerful revenue engine for you. So we'll get into the major players, some of the new guys in the game. The critical mistakes that I found that a lot of business owners make with social media and why they just kind of give it up altogether. We'll go into the social media success cycle, and then the KPIs, and then we'll get a little bit into how to kind of start a paid advertising campaign on the social networks. So first, I won't get too much into this, but you guys know the major social media players: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. I mean, you could see the sheer amount of users they have. I mean, if you took all these numbers and made this into a country, it would probably be like the second or third largest country in the world, right? And then we'll get in a little bit of the new guys here in a second. But Facebook, I have some key stats here that just show its power, but I kind of highlighted what I find the most interesting. First of all, it reaches 60% of all internet users around the world. So that's pretty impressive. 7 out of 10 adults in the US use Facebook. 96% are using the app over using desktop. So it's very important to make sure that all of your advertising on Facebook, all your photos are all optimized for smaller screens, for phones and iPads and things like that. And then this is my favorite one: 78% have discovered a new product via Facebook. So people are making money and getting exposure with the power of Facebook. So that's a long-winded way of saying your business needs to be on Facebook, right? Instagram is, I'm sure as most of you know, is a little bit for the younger users. But 83% of Instagram users have also found new products or services on Instagram. So it is important to be on there, even if you don't have a younger demographic that you're trying to reach. It still, has a lot of users and can be very important. And what I do like about it is that Facebook, purchased Instagram a while back, so they own it. So anytime you do an advertising campaign on Facebook, it will automatically get placed on Instagram as well. So you kind of get, a 2-for-1, better bang for your buck. And then LinkedIn is obviously the B2B, the business to business platform. 80% of B2B leads digitally come from LinkedIn. So, it's a great way to, if you are a B2B business, where Facebook and Instagram doesn't make sense for you, LinkedIn is a great avenue to build rapport and, and get new leads that way. All right, and then finally we have Twitter. A lot of people don't really, I would say don't use Twitter as much for business. It's definitely more kind of in the moment live, but it's a great way to listen to what your clients are saying. There's always trending things going on Twitter. The shelf life of a tweet is very, very small. So there's constantly tweets, going in and out, rotating through the system where, on Facebook and Instagram, people are very sensitive of posting multiple times per day and whatnot. Whereas on Twitter, you can kind of, there's really no limit to how much you can post. But, Twitter does get a ton of views. It's very popular during, elections and sporting events and things like that are going on live. So there's a great way to join a conversation when you're on Twitter. And then the new players in the game, WhatsApp, TikTok, and Snapchat. Now, this is definitely a newer, for the newer kind of younger people, but one app that me and Juan, I'm going to do a shameless plug here, is we're going to talk about next month. We're going to have a whole webinar on Clubhouse, which is a brand new, or not brand new, but fairly new social media app that's starting to really get a lot of users. It's so new that Android users can't even download it yet, but it's almost like a Zoom kind of app where you can join different chat rooms and speak on business. And it's going to be a really powerful tool for business, still in the new stages. So you have a really good chance of being an early adopter of Clubhouse. So if you haven't heard of Clubhouse, I suggest downloading it and looking into it. But one thing I always say is don't be attracted to the shiny new thing, right? Just because, you hear, oh, TikTok is blowing up or Snapchat is blowing up. If your ideal target market is not on any of these apps, then don't force it. You don't have to use it. I mean, it can get overwhelming with how many social media apps there are. And if your target network isn't there, then don't go there. So let's get into the critical mistakes that most business owners make when it comes to social media, and why I see their frustration increase and why they just, kind of shun social media altogether. So the first thing is you are treating social media as a broadcast, right? You're going in and you're only selling, or you're only just kind of speaking to people and not making it a two-way street. You want there to be engagement, right? You want to be asking questions. You don't want to just get on there and only promote you and your business. It needs to be engaging. The best content that goes viral are things that resonate with people and get them to engage. So don't treat it as a broadcast. Don't treat it like you're a newscaster speaking to people watching, like on TV or something like that, right? So create an opportunity to create dialogue is really the best way to look at it. Jumping straight into the sale, I just kind of alluded to that. That's another big problem I see. People don't know, like, or trust you yet on social media if they're not your friend or a follower. So why would they just all of a sudden make a purchase the first time they see your ad or first time they see your post? Find a way to resonate with them. Share blog posts, actually provide value to these people before you just go straight into the sale when they've never heard of you. So third mistake is failing to really align your social media with your overall marketing. So that could be something as simple as your website. You put an ad on Facebook and it looks nothing like your website as far as the branding, the colors, the messaging. If all of your your content marketing is not aligned with your other elements of marketing, then it's not going to be good. You don't want to make people think you're baiting and switching them, right? You want everything to be aligned. So that's a big mistake that I find. And then finally, we'll get a little bit in this more, is treating social media like a single discipline. So there's actually 4 really key elements of making social media successful, and we're going to get into that right now. So here's the social media success cycle. It starts with social monitoring and listening, right? You want to be listening to what the marketplace is saying, what the customers are saying. Then there's the social influence part of the cycle, social networking, and finally, you get into the social selling. That should be the last phase of your success cycle. So getting into those right now. So what exactly is social listening? So this is finding a way to, be a part of the trends and things that are, going on socially. What are your customers asking? What are they saying? How can you answer those questions? How can you be a resource for them? How can you solve their pain points? And that's through listening and research and finding out what's going on. There's some really good ways to find out how to kind of see what's going on social media. One way is Twitter. Twitter's a great source for trends. So if you log into Twitter and go to this explore section right here in the top left, it will tell you everything that's trending, not just for you based on your interest. But if you look at the kind of top there, there's literally a section for trending, and then you could also break it down by, you know, news, sports, entertainment, whatever the case may be. So that's a great way to kind of join the conversation. But you can also just do an advanced Twitter search to see what people are talking about in your industry or your profession, right? How about another way of finding out what people are trying to, you know, listen to and is kind of just seeing what your competitors are doing. Facebook has a really cool spying tool that allows you to look at all the advertisements that your competitors are actually putting out there. So if you go to any Facebook business page in the world and you scroll down, you click page transparency. It's right there in the left-hand side, and you click see all. You can actually see any advertisement that your competitor is actively running right now. Or if it's not a competitor, you just want to look at some of these big brands like Geico, or if you're in health insurance or whatever the case may be, you can actually look at what ads they're running. You can see the verbiage they're using, the imagery, the videos, and it gets you a good idea of, you know, what works and what doesn't work. So I highly recommend that tool. All right, so what's going on? You guys see that? Juan, do you see that yellow lines? I don't know what that is. Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I don't know what that is. Social influence. So
actually, it looks like somebody's drawing on their screen. So if you're drawing on the screen, please don't do that.
Someone is. Yeah.
I'll find out who you are in just a second. So you can erase it, actually.
Okay. Yeah, is there a way to get that off? Sorry about this, guys.
It looks like we didn't disable that. So
yeah. So I don't know if someone is.
All right, we'll just keep going. And
okay. Yeah. So
sorry about it.
Yeah. So the parts of the social success cycle, one is social influence. So how can you be an influencer in your industry? And that's all through sharing relevant and valuable content. So, you know, that's going to be on all the major platforms that, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. But, you know, people show commitment in two ways. And I love this quote. It's either with their time or in their money. So they're going to spend time, you know, reading your content, opting into your newsletter. You know, maybe you have a lead magnet, that a gated course, a PDF, a white paper, an ebook that they're going to opt into, or they're going to do it with their money, right? So you want to be a valuable resource for people where they are going to actually, you know, invest some time or money. So, you know, here's an example of, you know, Social Media Examiner. They share some really, really good free articles on social media advice and just business advice in general. So they, you know, that's how they connect with their target audience. Second is social networking. So this is really, you know, another word for strategic partnerships. So how can you align with another business to, you know, to be a strategic partner? So whether that's doing a webinar together, or going on Instagram Live or Facebook Live and kind of doing a panel and answering questions, things like that. That's a great way to where you can promote each other's businesses. You know, you'll be able to reach the, you know, you'll get in front of their fans, and then they'll get in front of your fans. So it's really important to, you know, align yourself with strategic partners on social media. And then finally is the social selling. So this all comes down to advertising. You know, Facebook and Instagram and really all the networks have robust targeting. If you tell me you want to reach, you know, 35 to 55-year-old males in Boca Raton that are parents, you can do that. You can reach by income level, family size, all types of demographics and interests. So selling is definitely a major part of social media, but all those other things need to come first before you do that. So how can you measure success on social media? And that's going to be with your KPIs or your key performance indicators. So, all right, it's gone. Good to see. So the big thing is with the KPIs is the first thing you want to measure is awareness. And that's just going to be how many people you reach and the number of impressions that you get. So every post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, if you're a business account, will tell you, you know, how many people you reach. And you're probably going to notice that number is low. If you have about, let's say, 1,000 fans that follow you on Facebook, generally you're only going to reach about 1 to 5% of that fan base, because Facebook and all these platforms have an algorithm in place that limits your organic reach. So that's where paid advertising comes in. Secondly, you're going to want to measure your engagement, and that comes with the clicks, likes, shares, comments, and those can seem like vanity metrics, which they are in a sense, but it still gives you a good idea if people are resonating with your content. But how you measure your ROI is going to be through leads and conversions, and cost per lead and cost per conversion. And this is a little bit more advanced, but Facebook has a really cool basically tool called ROAS, or return on ad spend. And if you look into your advertising, and you can actually put in the cost of your product, the cost of your sale, the cost of a lead to you, and it will actually calculate your return on ad spend based on the amount of ads that you are spend it based on the amount of ads that you're spending. So it's a really cool tool that will tell you to know if Facebook, Instagram, whatever is profitable for you. And then finally, before I get into advertising, is I want to get into groups. So groups is something that has been around for quite a while on Facebook, LinkedIn, but it's a really great way to be a resource for people, and also really build a database. So here's a shameless plug. We created a group recently called the 80/20 Marketing Group. We just started it, and for example, you can share posts, you can share photos, you can share live video, you can invite all of your connections to it, and it's a great way to really just build up a network of connections and provide value. So in this group, for example, I'm going to be doing live trainings, live demos. I'm going to help optimize people's LinkedIn profiles on it. So it's a really good way to connect with people and really build rapport and potentially get new business opportunities. So let me stop that. Going to the next slide. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. So then another option is Facebook groups. So I just typed in legal advice, for example, in Facebook search bar. And if you click on the groups column right there, let's say you're a lawyer. Look at some of these groups: 18,000 people, 107,000 people, 20,000 people. Why not join those groups and answer questions, be a resource, or better yet, join your own group and build it up? I'm sure if you can, get 18,000 people in a group, you're going to get some business from that. And that's can be with any industry, whether you're in plumbing, whether you're in insurance, whether you're in finance. If you can build a group and build the following of it, because people care about what you're doing, and people are resonating with the content, and people are actually getting good advice from you, then that's going to help you in the long run. All right, let's get into the paid social media, because like I said, organic social media, while it's still important, the reach has been limited so much by these algorithms that they've essentially become pay to play platforms. If you want to reach your target demo and you want to make a return on your investment with social media, it's going to come through advertising. So, I'm sure you've all seen social media ads when you're scrolling through your newsfeed, and you see your mom sharing her cat, and then you see your friend's post. Then there's the one that will say sponsored, and you're seeing that ad for a reason. They're targeting you, whether it's based on age, whether it's on other pages you've clicked on, whether it's on other websites that you've clicked on. And I'm sure some of you have seen it, where you'll go and search up a Nike shoe product, and all of a sudden, literally 30 seconds later, that Nike shoe is in your news feed, because they know they are tracking your IP address, and they know that what you're looking at. So it's kind of scary, but very powerful way to reach people. So why should you do it? Why should you be using paid advertising? Well, first of all, it's extremely targeted. Like I said, you can reach your ideal demographic. You want to tell me age, interests, behaviors, demographics, geographically, you can do all of that with social media advertising. Also, it's completely in your control, right? If an ad isn't working, you can turn it off at any time. It's not like it's a toll, right, where you're pre-spending. If you have an ad budget of 1,000 and 500 gets spent, and you don't want to spend that other 500, then you don't have to, or you could tweak your strategy, tweak your ads, so you have full administrative control of it. And what I like about it is, paid ads are relatively predictable. If you are doing ads right, you're going to start to see, and see what it gets a little more predictable in terms of, how many leads you're getting, and you're going to start to know the cost per lead that you're going to get accustomed to. So that's what I like about it. You'll see pretty quickly, within a week, if your ad strategy is working, and it becomes more predictable for you. So what are the main advertising mediums? And I like this quote: advertising as a whole hasn't changed all that much over the years. All it's really changed is the spaces they occupy, right? It used to be the yellow pages and things like that. It's still the same concept, right? You still need to resonate with people. You still need to have good copy, and you still, need to have good content, but it's just digital instead of, billboards and some of these other things. So, you know, you can really advertise on any single network from Pandora to Facebook, but where I think you get the biggest bang for your buck is Facebook and Instagram. That's always been my biggest suggestions. And of course, Google as well, but Google pay-per-click can get very expensive very fast. So let's get into what makes a good Facebook or Instagram or really any social media ad. It's the offer, it's the audience you're targeting, it's the creative. All right. So let's get into the offer. What is your core offer? This is a big thing that that people don't make clear in their ad copy is what are you selling? What pain point are you solving for people? If you're a weight loss company, is it that you're going to help people lose weight? Or is the pain point you're going to be able to fit in those jeans again? You're going to be able to play with your children more effectively. You got to be able to speak to people's pain points in order to have an effective offer. And you got to have a great call to action so people understand that offer, right? Secondly, is the audience. This is a big thing. A lot of people try to just cast a wide net. Maybe they'll just target all 55 to 55 plus in South Florida. No, get a little bit more hyper targeted. So you should know what your customer avatar looks like, right? What does their income look like? What is their median age? What is their job title? Are they parents? And you likely know that in your industry, what your target audience looks like. And then you can do that in an advertisement. And what are their interests? There's a lot of great tools to find this out. One thing I recommend is Facebook Audience Insights. If you Google Facebook Audience Insights, it's a free tool that Facebook has where you can put in, let's say, your target demo's age, gender, location, and it will tell you the top pages they like. It will tell you if they use Android versus iPhone more predominantly. It will tell you what websites they shop on. You can glean a lot of really, really good information from Facebook Audience Insights. And then finally, in my mind, really is the creative. And I think this is the most important element of a good Facebook ad. A lot of people do get have a good core offer and they'll target, the right audience, but the creative just doesn't resonate with the person. Like I said, if you are like that weight loss company, talk about how, you're going to have a better life, right? Or if you're, hair loss, right? Talk about getting your hair back, getting your confidence back. That's what the best ads really find a way to be creative or funny or interesting. And I have a couple of examples. One is, I'm sure you guys have heard of Dollar Shave Club. They, I think, are marketing geniuses. Their commercials on TV are hilarious. Their Facebook advertisements are hilarious. So, they have a cheaper brand or less expensive brand of razor, but it's still quality. So here's one of their examples where they're poking fun at Gillette and some of these other major razor brands, like our steel, they spell it, notice the spelling, $6, and their steel. That's so creative, great way. That's going to make you stop scrolling. And that's what you want to do in any social media ad is how do you get people to stop scrolling? Because there's just so much clutter on these news feeds that people are just going to mindlessly scroll. So how do you get them to really stop and be like, whoa, that was eye-opening, and get them to actually, click? Here's a couple other ones. On the right, again, Dollar Shave Club. I like that. They, kind of show compared to, their competitors' razors. Or here's, Kit and Kin, this makes you kind of stop scrolling right away. Does my bum look, big in this? So this is obviously targeted to parents and mothers and things like that. And they do what's called a carousel ad where you can actually scroll through by clicking that little arrow and see different photos. So it's got a nice picture, it's got nice copy, and it's, aesthetically pleasing. So I like this one a lot too. And the final part is the planning and budgeting, which I won't get too much in, but you want to have a strong advertising budget beforehand because you're going to need to have enough of a budget to be able to split test. which is, trying out different copy, trying out different photos, trying out different audiences, and seeing what works best. And you can't do that going in under finance. You got to have enough of a budget to be able to fail a little bit, honestly, and see what works best for your brand and what's going to get you the most leads and at the best price. And then, the final part of understanding advertising really is making sure that you have a funnel. Because like I said, one of the biggest mistakes, right, is when you go straight for the sale. So you need to, in the beginning, people don't know, like, or trust you yet. So you got to start at the top of the funnel is where you have the most people. It's a blank slate, a blank canvas, right? This is where you make people aware of your brand. This is through blog posts. This is through videos. This is through FAQs, answering questions. Do ads that are just going to get people a little bit more aware of your brand. Send them back to your website, to a cool blog post you have, or send them back to a lead magnet you may have. Maybe it's some sort of 7 steps to doing this. Get this guide by giving me your email address, right? So you're exchanging valuable information in exchange for their contact info and the right to follow up with them. Then as they move down the funnel, you're going to take them to the middle. This is where you kind of show them that you could solve their problems. This is where you could do maybe like a case study, or you can do your current customers' testimonials. It's a video testimonial saying how happy they are with your product or service. And then at this point, they're much warmer. If they're still around at this point, then you're going to take them to the sales part of the funnel, which is the bottom. This is where you're going to have the least amount of people, but it's going to be the people with the warmest intent, right? This is where you can encourage them to buy with sales, sending them directly to your sales page or directly to the form on your website to set up a free consultation or whatever the case may be, based on the industry that you're in. So that's kind of the 3 steps of an effective funnel. And just to further go into that, so the top of the funnel, this is where, obviously they're unaware that of you and that the problem that exists, and they're kind of just more interested in entertainment, right? This is where they want that blog post to read, or they want that video to watch. Then as they go through in the middle, this is where they're kind of getting a little bit more interested. They want to learn more about your product or service. And finally, the bottom, this is where they're actively searching for a solution to their problem. This is where you can get them. And this is another great area for what's called retargeting. And that's why I alluded to earlier, if, when you search that Nike shoe, and then all of a sudden you see it following you everywhere, it's in your Facebook newsfeed, it's in your email. That's because people are retargeting. And that's a really something you can do pretty simply by installing what's called the Facebook pixel code on your website, where it'll track all of the visitors that went to your website. And then you can retarget those specific people that visited your webpage, because you know that they have interest and intent in your business. So here's just a couple examples of how to get them aware, right? A lot of people are like, well, I've told me, well, my brand might be a little boring, or my blog post might be a little boring. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be exactly about your business. Here's a cool company that I found, Snack Nation, right? They're a company that just sells snacks, you get to offices and things like that. They have little snack baskets. Well, they did an article, 39 insanely fun team building activities for work. So does that have anything to do with snacks? Not really. But what they did was, they know that who their target audience is probably going to be people that are in HR, right? Like directors of HR. So they put this article out and they targeted HR people. And it's just about team building activities, because they know that HR people would likely be interested in this article. Or about this one. Here's a company that sells dog food, right? So this article, while it's about fighting bad doggy breath, sort of has to do with their brand, but not really. It's more of just a fun article, because we all know that our dog's breath is probably pretty stinky. So this kind of just shows how to fight that breath, and that they did an article that just, it's of interest. It's not necessarily selling their food and the dog food that they offer. So you just get creative. It doesn't have to be completely about your product or your service. And here's one of my favorite one. Look up this guy on YouTube, Morris Jenkins. He does HVAC and coil cleaning and all that type of stuff, mold remediation. But and that's kind of a boring topic, right? He finds an extremely creative way to do these videos. His videos literally get thousands of views. I mean, look at this one, it has 27,000 views, because he's hysterical. He found a creative way to talk about air conditioners and HVAC cleaning and things like that. So there's definitely ways, if you're whether you're a lawyer or insurance, to make your stuff more interesting and exciting. And then you're going to want to plan your strategy. So before you just walk into an advertising campaign, don't do a spaghetti on the wall approach. Plan out your budget, plan out your content, make sure your website and your social media are aligned. Make sure you know your target audience. Make sure you're using that funnel approach before you just kind of slap something together. But ultimately, a great ad strategy comes down to this, and I want you to write this down. Showing the right person, which is your target audience, the right offer at the right time in the right way. And that's what it comes down to. And that's kind of everything that I just talked about for the last 15 minutes summed up into one sentence. So this is a little bit into spending. You know, a lot of people do ask about the budget. You know, there's no secret number in how much you should spend, but here's a little bit of percentages on how you should really align your budget. Top of the funnel, this is where most of it's going to go, because this is where you reach, this is where the most of the people are going to be, at the top of the funnel. Because as you move down the funnel, that list, that audience is going to get smaller and smaller. So 20% will go to the middle, and then only about 10% is going to go to the bottom of the funnel, because that's going to be the smallest amount. So you don't need to spend a ton there. You want to spend most of your ad dollars getting people to know, like, and trust you. And that happens in that top and middle of the funnel. So that's just kind of reinforcing that. So with that, you know, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You know, I'm sure you might have some questions on that. There's still a good amount of people on the webinar, so we'd love to answer any questions, whether it's about my presentation or Juan's. So feel free to put it in the chat area.
Fantastic. And you did all that without drinking water. That's pretty impressive. We got to record how many words that is in 47 minutes between the two of us. So great job. Guys, if you have any questions whatsoever, drop them into the chat box. I'd also love to learn, what was your one big thing that you got from today? I mean, we covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. That's typical for us. We always like to over deliver with value, and we always like to know that all the work that we put into this was for something. So let us know what one big thing you got from today. That would be terrific. And so we'd love to speak with you individually about how we can help you with your marketing, whether you need to train someone on your staff. So we have a training department where we can train your internal person to handle marketing, or train you if you want to do it yourself or doing it internally, or we can handle the marketing for you. So Alan, I think you're going to talk about Calendly here. Yeah, so once again, you know, feel free to ask any questions. But yeah, so if you want a $0, you know, free marketing discovery call, where we're just I love helping, you know, our clients before they become our clients, is looking, you know, looking at your marketing and seeing where you can improve now. We'll absolutely have a no obligation, no cost discovery call, where I'll look at your website, I'll look at your SEO, I'll look at your Facebook and Google advertising, your organic Facebook posting, or even just your pages, and see how we can optimize them and see how we can you know, improve them. So if you are interested in just setting up just a no obligation conversation, and I'd be happy to look at your marketing for you. Here's my link right here. So it's tinyurl.com/comp discovery call. I can put that in the chat box as well. But just copy that link, and you know, I have my calendar on there basically, and you could just align it with a time that works for you. Yeah, great. And just a kind of another plug. So Alan and I are going to be live and in person this afternoon at 3 o'clock in Fort Lauderdale. We're doing a time mastery presentation, an intensive one. So from 3 to 5 p.m. at Rivertail Restaurant. I believe that there's actually only 2 seats left. We are keeping it very limited quantity due to social distancing. But if you want to come out and learn some stuff about time management, have some food, have some drinks with us, meet us in person, we'd love to have you. I'm going to drop in the link right now in the chat, so you can click on that and get yourself a ticket. So it looks like we got some good feedback. We did have a couple questions. One of them was, is there a way to get this presentation? Yes, so there is. We can send you a PDF copy of the presentation. Just email Alan or myself, and ask us for it. We don't typically send it out to everyone, but if you want it, it's yours. Just email us and we'll be happy to send it. So if there's no other questions, no other feedback, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been our pleasure to spend some time with you on this Friday. We hope to see you this afternoon, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, and here's our contact info, Alan at smartypantsmarketing.com. That's pants with a Z, or you can visit our website as well. And yeah, we hope to see you this afternoon. And we do these webinars every month. Next month, we will be talking about Clubhouse, which is a brand new way to new social platform and a good way to potentially get business. So we hope to see you there, and everyone have a great weekend. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.